One of the most important aspect of our practice and our growth is the quality. And when we talk about quality, we have so many methodologies to work on these qualities. So I'm going to start off with, first of all, Subhamay Dastidar. Dasti, I would like to know that when we are talking about quality and when we're talking about quality in healthcare, when you start off as a startup, how do you try to work and focus on these aspects?
When we had started this company, quality has three aspects. One is the structure part, that is infrastructure. Second is the process, and the third is the outcome. Now, if you see in India, what we saw the labs, there are various spectrum of the lab. There are certain labs which are started in a garage in a one-room kitchen with some, blood counting machine and few instruments, and you have a very high-end world-class labs. So, in terms of structure, you find both are like you can put a tick question mark on one side and tick the other side. In terms of process also, I mean, if I go to these labs, those one-room labs or garage labs, their process also not in place, but again, you have these labs which are NABL, CAP accredited, very good labs. But the question comes of outcome. The outcome where we found that there is a gap, even in the good labs also. Because, see, in terms of the diagnostic, one is the very simple kind of diagnostic, which is like if I'm checking a blood sugar. Blood sugar is just within a range, whether it's out of range or within range. But when it's come to certain like genetics or prenatal screening, where there's interpretation involved. It's not one single parameter, it's a multiple parameter which are linked together. And that is somewhere that we found that even the big labs were issuing reports where the clinicians are asking questions. Was not very satisfied. We saw the gap there because that's the one part of the quality which is not being covered. So we said, we make a world-class infrastructure, we make a world-class process, but we make the outcome also world-class outcome. And that's, I think, the reason for our success.
Hasmukh Vora sir. So when we talk about pharma industry, what are the various challenges or the opportunities that you look at in that sector of healthcare?
Number one, by and large, most of the people are manufacturing, getting the product for curative purpose or regulative purpose or regenerative purpose. But the best thing is, prevention is the best cure. And on this side, there is lot of things to be learned and to come out. And it is very essential that we should think on this. Especially in Ayurveda, we have a system where we talk more of preventive rather than curative. And there we try to use all the three systems by right type of living, right type of food, and exercise.
So when we talk about the pharma industry, so what are the various aspects that has come in your mind that, when the stakeholders in pharma industry are putting their money and putting their investment and trying to reach out to the people, what is one thing that you feel that the pharma sector is changing over the years, in which direction?
One thing is that India has made fantastic progress in pharma industry. When we got freedom, at that time we were importing 10 crore rupees of medicines. And today, last year we have exported 1,20,000 crores of medicines to 200 countries in the world, which is more than member of United Nations. Today, India has become the pharmacy of the world. The reason is proactive government, regulations, and industry has agreed to improve themselves. But still, we have miles to go.
Okay, we move on to this young lady who's sitting here. I know Dr. Ashwini is also a clinician and has moved on into administrative role. How do you look at healthcare sector from the position from where you are sitting today?
Traditionally, we have learned quality is something where the inherent characteristics or the attributes meet the requirements. And quality in healthcare is actually whatever service delivery we are giving to the patient, to the client. I always like to use the word client. For me, it's not only the patient, it is the relatives also whom we are serving and the stakeholders with them. So whatever healthcare service delivery we are giving to the client, to the population at large, they have to meet the expectations of the population, yet not compromising on the professional expertise. That's the, in a nutshell, quality in healthcare. And I think we have come a large way, what we have studied 20 years back and presently what we are seeing, the healthcare, the quality, the essence of quality So it's come up large ways because of the contribution. It's grown bounds and leaps because of contribution of not only the doctor, the nurses, the paramedical staff, pharma industry, the medical devices company, the clinical research, telemedicine, obviously all this automation everywhere, artificial intelligence, as Dr. Gupta just now you mentioned. So I mean, we have come a long way, and I think yet a lot ahead to go.
Mr. Shamim Khan, HCG, I think it has become a very popular name, and it's a very niche zone where you have been working in the healthcare sector. So what are you people working on, and how is it, what is your views on that?
I think when it comes to delivery of healthcare, the most important aspect in today's arena is value-based healthcare. I think what is the value which you provide to the patient? Is it just the clinical expertise which you need? Like Dr. Mukesh Gupta had initially in his talk had mentioned, an experience of a patient. So what is that experience, and what is that which you require the patient to undergo and understand that this is what will add value to this particular patient? So it will keep on changing from patient to patient. The perspective keeps on changing. What we in HCG are actually doing is, first of all, the biggest thing what we need to understand is how exactly we can provide the reach to all the aspects of the country. So that reach, we are currently 28 hospitals across the country. The reach is the first one. The second one is what exactly is the infrastructure which you will provide. So when it comes to technology and innovation, by the time you install something, it's already out and something new is coming into the picture. So where do you see yourself? Which people do you benchmark with, saying that, okay, I would provide that kind of technology in a country like India? And lastly, I would say affordability finally comes in when you see the value in it. When you combine all these three aspects and say that, okay, this will be provided at this cost, there is a cost to low value as well. So what exactly is considered to be valuable to a patient is that cost, if you put it, I think the patient takes it very well.
Let me ask Madam Kohli, she's got highest amount of experience when it comes to diagnostic sector. When we talk about this service industry, what is your views and what are the challenges you feel when it comes to regulatory issues or other issues in the diagnostic sector?
I'm from the supply industry, Dr. Mukesh, actually from the manufacturing side, and I've spent over 29 years in the manufacturing side. And the biggest challenge, if I was to quote, going right back to the 1990s, was that 90% of the diagnostics products being used in our hospitals and path labs and blood banks were being imported from different parts of the globe. And that situation has improved somewhat during the past 25 years, wherein we are now approximately 60% import dependent. And what we really need to do is to bridge this gap, is to become increasingly self-reliant, like Doctor mentioned here, that availability and affordability of quality healthcare are the two topmost priorities of the nation. And I believe that both these objectives can be met if we were to become self-reliant in all the components of the healthcare system in our country, be it medical devices, equipment, diagnostics, vaccines, and drugs, which would render them affordable, and the quality needs to be maintained. You know, the only reason today that a made-in-India diagnostics product is not a taboo anymore, it's because we've established the quality of diagnostics products, and we are seen at par with products being imported from the other parts of the globe. And I just want to share the vision, mission, objectives of my company, Vanguard Diagnostics, which is a manufacturing company for diagnostics products, is just that we want to build an Indian brand that stands for quality and reliability.
So I think we have come to the conclusion, and let me summarize that it is an amazing opportunity that White Page International has actually brought in people from the diagnostic side, people from the pharma industry side, people from actually the manufacturing side, the big specialty hospitals and the focused subspecialty focused hospital and the doctor on the same platform. I want to give this last take-home message that remember, healthcare may be multifactorial, but unless we combine all these factors together and focus on one primary principle, and that is help the patient, nothing else will work. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Can we have a huge round of applause for the panel?